Hello and welcome to another edition of Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames. The season is underway. If you didn't get to join us last week for the live season over on Tuesday, sorry about that. If you got a chance, you got 3 hours to waste. Go listen to that podcast again. Look it up on YouTube. We had a fantastic time. Ton of good guests. Ton of guys talking great fantasy hockey info. So go back, listen to that, check it out. But guys, we're officially in season. We're week 2 here. Things are getting underway. Already a great start to the season. Man, we're seeing some great hockey early on, which is great to see. How you boys doing? How you feeling after week 1 of the fantasy hockey season?
Well, JT, you said the season is underway. You may want to remind my home league team of that. Okay, and let them know that the season started. I got a lot of Russians, and they're not producing. I mean, I can put them in hard labor. Many years of it. There's plenty of places we can actually send them. So they're going to have to pick up the pace. Marchenko's actually done his job, but the others haven't. We'll get into that later on. But yeah, man, I still love hockey. It's great. But man, fantasy-wise, it has been hard sledding after week 1 with all of my teams.
Okay, can't get too upset early on. You know, it's week 1. You want to get on the gates fast, but you know, being the first guy out doesn't always be the guy that wins at the end. You know that, Toast. You know how to grind it. Hey, hockey season is a grind. We all know that. It's a grind. It's a long year. You don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low. I remember having conversations with a few friends early in their hockey fantasy days, and they're like, this guy's doing nothing. Should I drop him? I'm like, oh, it's hockey. I'm like, don't drop studs just because he's off to a slow start. I'm like, these guys are going to produce eventually. I'm like, it's different. It's a guy who's like a fringe type of player, but I'm like, you can't drop studs on a team just because he has 0 points through week 1. Like, you got to give it some time. Hockey's like baseball. It goes up and down. Guys get on streaks. You can't say like, oh, I'm dropping the league MVP because he's on an over 20 streak in baseball. Like, now, you got to stick with him. You got to stick with him. Just like McDavid, he gets hurt. Somebody has a slow start. You got to stay with your guys. So stick with the studs. Do not drop them too early, people. Hold on to your guys. Obviously, they're fringe players that are doing nothing for you. Kick those guys to the curb. But the other guys, you got to just hold on. Don't get overly antsy. Make too many moves early on. Start dumping guys who in like 3 weeks are like, man, I really wish I would have kept that guy. He's crushing it. So do not do that. Any
JT, I
early
like
fantasy advice for either of you guys?
I like.
I'm wrong?
No, I'm just saying. I like the idea of 10 years of hard labor. I like it. I like to kind of dangle that over their heads. A little threat, a little bit of motivation. I'm going to go with that.
I like it. Nothing wrong with that. We're going back to the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah, it was Mike Keenan.
We're going to the Cold War action here.
Yeah. But JT, we should actually get tonight's bets because we got about 25 minutes to get a parlay in there.
Great call. We are going to get into NHL bets tonight before the late games. We don't want you guys missing out on any of these late night bets. Let's get to it.
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
So depending on what betting platform you're looking at, odds might be different. Just to give you a little heads up, we typically use DraftKings, but between the 3 of us. Occasionally we're on FanDuel too if we see some better odds, some things like that. So we do look at both of those. But if you're on another betting app in a different state than us, that allows something different, then make sure you check those things against what we've told you. Because sometimes we'll tell you a line or we'll tell you something. It might be where we're at, but it might not be where you're at. Just a heads up there. Typically, when we tell you lines on this show, it is DraftKings. I just want to tell that for all the new people who maybe didn't watch us last year. Typically, if we're talking lines, that's where we're talking, unless Toast makes me go searching and then I try to find a better line somewhere else. So occasionally that happens when Toast's like, JT, find that somewhere else. I know there's lines somewhere. So that's typically what we get into. It's 9 8:40 Eastern Time, 8:40 Central. We got the late games coming up. Anything we like in this late night slate, fellas?
Yes, I do like stuff. So let's go ahead and get into these late night games. And Aaron, I'll let you chime in here as well. So we got 2 games, and we're going to build a parlay with the listeners here tonight if you guys choose to actually join. So we have Carolina at San Jose tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern, and Pittsburgh at Anaheim at 10:30 Eastern. I mean, late night, right? You're going to be staying up to about 12:30, seeing us through. We'll all get through it together. All right, so I'm loving both these games. I think there'll be goals aplenty in both of them. All of tonight's early games kind of started off fairly slow, and then they actually started to pick up pace with goals as the evenings actually went on. But there are a 5-leg parlay I like to do with both of these put together. Okay, we got 3 from the San Jose game, and we'll have 2 from the Anaheim game. So Sebastian Aho, any assist? A Macklin Celebrini, any assist? And over 6.5 total goals in that Carolina San Jose game. That alone by itself is plus 395. You got San Jose that cannot stop the puck, period. Even last year they couldn't do it, and through a few games this year, awful at it, right? So Carolina, 2-0. We know they actually have struggles, a lot of issues scoring the puck at times, but they're a real good team. The only thing that's going to keep them from actually scoring a bunch of goals tonight in this game, going over the 6.5, is in the event Carolina got there early. They decided that, hey, they want to go ahead and party a little bit out there on the West Coast, have a good time. They're 2-0. They're going to overlook San Jose. I think San Jose is like a plus 240, so keep that in mind. But plus 395 for those. And then you got Pittsburgh at Anaheim. I like a Rickard Rakell point and a Sidney Crosby point. That's plus 112 together on an Anaheim team that, again, actually gives up a lot of shots on goal. They actually give up a lot of goals, period, as well. And Pittsburgh has looked a little bit better than we actually anticipated them. So if you were to put those 5 together, you can get that at plus 949 on DraftKings. I like that for a parlay. See if you guys will actually follow me.
Toast. Just so the people have it, as I'm following you live on air right now, go ahead and run through that parlay real quick again for anybody who missed it who's trying to get that bet in before post tonight.
Yep. Carolina and San Jose. We're going to go the over 6.5 total goals. We're going to do a Sebastian Aho assist, a Macklin Celebrini assist, and then going over to the Pittsburgh Anaheim game, we're going to do Rickard Rakell with a point and Sidney Crosby with a point. 5-leg plus 949 on DraftKings. Aaron, who do you like in these 2 games?
Well, again, we seem to have this dynamic. That's a pretty impressive leg. I tend to lose it on that 5th leg or that 4th leg or whatever that last leg is where I fall apart. I think there's probably millions of us that can say that, but I'm going pretty basic. So I'm going Anaheim, and oh shoot, you just said it. Who do they play? Anaheim and
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Thank you. Yes. So 2 teams with 0 defense. So I'm going the over. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm only doing a 2-leg parlay. I'm taking the Sharks plus 1.5. I agree with everything you just said about Carolina. I'm gonna stay away from the over total goals just because Carolina is defensively sound. I think it was Freddie Anderson when I checked. I could be wrong on that. I don't know who's got the net there. Doesn't matter. They got all those studs in front of them that are gonna eat the shots anyway. But San Jose, that Anaheim San Jose game, and I know we'll recap some of the games here in just a minute, but 11 goals on that. That was for being the first week of hockey. That was a fun, thrilling, exciting game. That's not Joe Quenneville hockey though. So Anaheim and all these goals that they're giving up and all these goals that they're scoring, let's get in and cash in on those while we can, because at some point Quenneville's going to put a stop to that. He's going to either tighten them up defensively and they're going to be boring as hell, or I anticipate that's what'll happen with Anaheim. But right now, let's get in while the getting's good. And you combine those two short little parlay there. That's a plus 277. So put $20 on that. Let's see if we can double our money or better.
I like that, Aaron. Toast, I was going to let you know, I just jumped in on that to tell you numbers have fallen just a bit. So people are on this bet right now. So Aho, 1+ assists. So Brittany 1+ assists, over 6.5. Crosby point, Raquel point right now is plus 770. So it's dipped a little since you put it in. But on DraftKings, they have a 50% late night parlay right now. You can add that in there, add that to it, makes it 1155. Usually, depending on who you are and what you bet, is you have $5 to $25, $30 in there. You can jump on that. So right now, you can get it as a $25 bet. Better, you can get that for $313.75 at plus 1155. So just aware to the people out there, if you want to get in that one more time. If you're chasing to get in there real quick, which I understand, sometimes you're like, got to get the fingers moving, figure out where that stuff's at. We've got Sebastian Aho, Carolina, 1+ assist. We got Macklin Celebrini, San Jose Sharks, 1+ assist. Over 6.5 goals. We're hoping we get some goalie pull late in some open netters. That's we're hoping for. Get that late. And then on the other side, Sidney Crosby, 1 point, and Ricard Raquel, 1 point. Add those both together. 5-pick parlay right now on DraftKings, plus 770. You can get the 50% late night NHL parlay for tonight. A $25 bet will get you up to $313. It's a plus 1155. And then, Aaron, recap your bet real quick. You had another one for us.
We've got the Anaheim Ducks and Pittsburgh Penguins going over 6.5 goals. Combine that with the Sharks and taking a 1.5 with the Sharks. When I put that bet in, I got a plus 277 on that.
Nice. Liking that. So, hey, we got some player prop bets there. We got some goals plus winner bets there. Toast, do you have anything else to add to this? We still got a little bit of time here before these late night games kick off.
Oh, yeah. And Aaron, I love that. And love that play with Anaheim and also with San Jose at the plus 1.5. And I think you went, did you go over? Did you go over on the Pittsburgh Anaheim, or did you just take Anaheim on the money line?
I went over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the over. Yep. Yeah. So the over, you're right. I mean, neither team plays a lick of D. And this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun for a late night scoring. And I'll be honest with you. So I put together Toast Takes today and a little frustrated with the play of the day. My play of the day usually is right around anywhere from plus 100 to plus 200. And so I went with a Philip Forsberg point and also a Sebastian Aho point. Put those two together at plus 123. Here's the reason why I'm frustrated is Predators put up 4 goals tonight. And guess who actually scores for 4 goals here for the Predators here? Here's all their point guys. Nick Perbix, the guy who used to play for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Goal and assist. Ozzy Weisblatt. You probably remember him, Aaron. He was a draftee of the San Jose Sharks, traded over to the Predators, 2 assists. A guy named Wilsby. I don't know who it is. 2 assists.
Wilsby. Is there a Wilsby in the house? Is there a Wilsby?
That's not a hockey name.
Yep. We got Michael McCarron. A goal. Eric Haula, he's been around everywhere. New Jersey Devils primarily. A goal. Marchessault, who's 95 years old, with an assist. And Ski with a Brady Shea, with an assist. So what I'm pointing out to you is this. 4 goals. No Stamkos. No O'Reilly. No Forsberg. No Bunting. Even no Evangelista, who's actually one of their better offensive players as well. I needed Forsberg for a point. Hence, this is what betting does, right? The odds of them actually scoring 4 goals and actually him not being on any of those points, pretty rare. right? But that's the way betting actually goes. You got to roll with the punches. I do wonder if he was actually hurt. He only got 17 minutes on time on ice. And unless they're just doing the load management thing where they're basically just rolling out the 4 lines and everything else, that's a little low for Forsberg. So that parlay is dead. However, I have the goal lotto play of the day I like to do. This is my 3 or 4 legger. It's going to be anywhere from plus 3 or 4,000 to plus 7, 8, 9,000. Big time, right? You're going to put $5 on there, hope to win $300-400. And tonight, I actually did Alexei Protas for Washington. He did score a goal. He was my first leg. He's been on fire lately. And I got Zach Bolduc, and I just noticed here, JT, Canadians tie up that game late. And you know what? It was not.
Talk about it and around the ice. The next segment, as soon as we get out of the betting segment,
let's hold off on that. Yeah, let's hold
let
off
everybody
on that.
know what was happening because we got some movement here in these late games. I was just gonna bring them up.
Yep, and Bolduc has been hot. I mean, coming over from St. Louis, man. Now he's actually in Montreal. He's he's on everybody's waiver wire, right? And we'll get to that maybe later on as well. And then Cutter Gauthier for Anaheim. Knowing it's going to be a high-scoring game. Gauthier actually already has 2 goals in a couple of games as well. You put all 3 of those together, and it's a plus 35.82. And so I'm holding on hope that Bolduc can actually score in overtime. Odds are he probably won't because it's 3-on-3 hockey. I don't see him actually being on the ice unless it goes the whole 5 minutes, right? So then Gauthier, we'll have to see. But so far on those plays of the days, I'm actually probably hitting through a week. The overall parlays are around 60-65%, and overall legs around 75%. So I'm right there. I've actually won some money. I've actually done pretty good. I'm probably a little bit above even. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Nice. Let's we got a lot of action here. Let's talk about what's going on around the ice.
Oh, the good old hockey game is the best game you can name. And the best game you can name is the good old hockey game.
Hey!
So here we go. We have got some action right now. Minute left. We got Montreal, Seattle just getting ready. A minute left, getting ready to go OT. They're fighting it out. Just tied it up at 4-4. We just had the Capitals Lightning. Capitals win it in OT 3-2. The earlier games, Maple Leafs 7-4 over the Preds. Toast was just talking about the 4 goals the Predators put up in a 7-4 loss. Oilers winning 2-0, which we're going to come back to that over the Rangers. Vegas right now currently down 2-0 at the end of 1. If you like to bet, like we like to live bet, it might be a decent spot to jump on Vegas. And then Minnesota, Dallas just getting underway. They were supposed to be 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time start, and they have gotten off to a late start. Not sure why. I don't know if it's a TV time or whatever, but they're just getting underway there. So if you want to jump on there as well. And again, we got coming up here in about 7-8 minutes, Hurricanes, Sharks going, and then Ducks, Penguins about 30 minutes later. But Toast, before we get into these other stuff, let's talk about Edmonton. Skinner, everybody just absolutely ripping him after the first week of the season. Turns out tonight gets a 2-0 shutout win. And just like you said, we look at the stats. No points from the big dogs other than Connor McDavid getting a assist on the empty netter at the end. So toughie for the Oilers if you got the Oilers on your fantasy teams, wanting those guys. And if you still had Stuart Skinner on your team, you're super pumped. He finally showed up in what was basically a 1-0 game the entire game.
You know what the story of the short NHL season for fantasy has actually been so far through almost a week and a half of play has been the third and fourth lines have actually done the majority of the scoring throughout the entire NHL. I don't know if you guys have noticed that with your teams as well. And especially like a night like tonight, my brother actually texted me. He's like, and Gail's new to fantasy hockey. We'll actually get into that here in a bit as well. And, I'm like telling him kind of what you said, Wells, JT, is like, this is a long season. You're going to have nights like we're basically like the other night, I started 19 guys. I had a total of 38 points. Right. It just happened. I'm like, you couldn't even try to do it, but it happened. And I'm loaded. I am absolutely loaded on that team. And nobody wants to score the puck. And here he goes tonight. And Edmonton, Trent Frederick, Kasperi Kapanen doing the scoring. Adam Henrik with the empty net. Andrew Mangiapane and McDavid Actor with the empty net assist. Nothing really actually happened. That's no surprise. That's kind of how the leagues actually went so far, with a bunch of the big stars being, I wouldn't say unbelievably quiet, but basically a little quiet, and a lot of the third and fourth line goons just basically taking over and really doing a majority of the scoring. Hence what we saw in the Predators versus the Maple Leafs game earlier today on the Predators side. Just who are these guys, right? But Skinner needed that. I got a lot of shares with Skinner as well. 30 saves tonight, shutout. I mean, he is just getting dogged in the media by the fans overall in the last couple of years there in Edmonton. This has got to feel really, really good for him. And this is a guy that has not played with confidence a lot in the last couple of years. So maybe this is just what he needs to get him going.
Yeah, Aaron, what do you think about Skinner? And then also, do you agree with Toast? It feels like teams are very more aware of their star players at the beginning of the year, and they're like, let's not burn them out right off the bat. It does feel like teams are like, let's even it out. I agree with Toast. I feel like I see more third lines and more checking lines than we ever see at this time of the season. But I feel like teams are like, hey, let's not get crazy early on. Let's not, bust everything we got here in the first 2 weeks of the year. Let's work everybody in and see what we got. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, without question. I mean, you can't really argue that at all. The sheets are what they say they are. And could be a million reasons. We may never ever pinpoint it. We could list them all, but I would say just historically speaking, with NHL, the home team always has the last change, so you can pull guys off. You can put guys on. That's why the home team has a slight advantage. If you got somebody really buzzing around out there, you say you're the Oilers. We talked about the Oilers just to kind of stay on track with them. You got that last change. You can double up and put Leo and McDusty out there on the same line, and chances are you'll generate a shot. That said, as I normally do, I've watched every Oiler game as much as I can. Love the team, love watching them, always have. But Trent Frederick, the goal scorer tonight, this guy has had so many grade A chances so far this year. Again, I know we're only three or four games in. Night after night, he has either just barely missed the net, he's clanked a few off the crossbar, clanked a few off the post, right post, left post. He is getting grade A chances, and he's one of those players on your toast take or your goal lotto or tune in every single day. Look at toast takes, especially these goal ones. This guy he's sitting around that plus 380, plus 450 range for right now. But I'm telling you, I've never seen, and I don't have the fancy stats in front of me at shout out to NHLreference.com, but we get those danger chances. But this guy's got to be top of the league, at least top in the West. He's out in front of the net. He's where he needs to be. Getting a little time on the PP2, which in Edmonton, they're not seeing the ice that much. They actually threw him out there on the PP1, not today, but whenever they played, whenever I watched him last. And he was hopping around out there. So it's a guy that, again, and I always use the same thing. I know Hyman's on long term, we won't see him for a few months, but anybody can not anybody can score 50 goals, but somebody's got to fill that role. Somebody's got to get those passes from those two studs. Who's to say it's not him? It could be any of these guys, but watch the hot hand, especially on Edmonton. But yeah, it's your grinders, your checkers, your line threes, your line fours that seem to be just stacking the points at the moment. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and Aaron,
we almost had Toast. We almost had the cord with a huge stop. Huge stop. I thought it was game. Like the Canadians were like literally celebrating. I thought it was game. I mean, just a great block in front. He hit him. Thought he had it stopped. No goal. But let's briefly, because this game is coming right down the end. It's going to possibly be the shootout. It's 4-4. With about just over a minute left in overtime. Montreal, the Kraken, we talked pretty highly about the Canadians preseason. We all felt like this is a team on the rise. They finally have turned the corner, got a bunch of young guys. We got Caulfield with an unassisted goal, Kirby Dodge with a goal, with Dobson and Matheson with the assist, and then tying it up 17-19 left in the third, just to put it at the 17-19 mark, excuse me, just over 3 minutes left. Demidov, toast guy, Demidov, with the goal to tie it at 4-4, and now we're in overtime with about just over a minute left here in OT. This team, me and Toast took Montembeau in a couple leagues. I've got him in a few spots. He's looked really good so far for Montreal. They played my wings. They played everybody early here. They played. Did they play the Blackhawks too, or am I mistaken on that one? I thought they played Blackhawks too. I feel like I've seen the Canadians every night. Literally, I feel like I've watched the Canadians every night since the season started, to be honest with you. I'm starting to like this team. I'm starting to like a lot of these players. A lot of good guys. What have you guys seen from them so far as they finally look to make that turn and make a push for the playoffs after all these years?
Well, I'm pretty pumped about them, and I tell you what, you mentioned Demidov.
Goal! Right as I say that, goal for they come out of the timeout and score a goal. Let me look back and see who it was. Real time here, you got it. I might be just
Cole Caulfield.
Cole Caulfield ends up getting it. Wow, unassisted, his second unassisted goal gets it in OT. Perfect timing. I love when that happens. Let's talk Canadians.
Yeah, and Aaron, I'm going to just mention one player here, and then I'll let you maybe talk about the Canadians a little bit. But it really is Ivan Demidov. And I talk about my guy. Like, all I did was shoot him a text. I said, hey, hard labor. Or, so what's he do tonight? He comes out there with a goal and an assist. And really, he actually needed that bad. Here was the thing I was a little concerned about, and I'm still a little concerned about. First game, 13:21 in time on ice. Second, 12:04. 2 nights ago, 14:22, and only tonight, 14:43. That's just not enough. And again, you just wonder, this is a young team. They're pretty built from 1 through 4. They got a really, really good lineup. You just do wonder if this is going to end up being where it's a little bit of load management for the young guy, right? Or, hey, we don't want to actually wear him out. This is going to be his first full season. I think he got a handful of games last year in NHL. Last year, he actually only had, 2 games played, right? So he had a goal and assist in those 2 games, and this year he actually has 3 points through 4 games. Love that, right? Goal, 2 assists, and through 4 games. Is this what you actually want? He's not going to hit. He's not going to block a whole lot, but the time on ice is a little concerning for me. Only 13:38 average through 4 games. So, but Aaron, what do you actually like about Montreal this year?
Yeah, and just a little pushback on Demidov. I mean, I don't think he's going to be at the point where he's going to, I say that, and then Mitchkov put a pretty good exhibition on last year, but I don't think it'll make or break. Like I see this normal ice time for a rookie, for an unproven rookie. Martin St. Louis, the head coach there at Montreal, former player, recent player actually. So with how they break these rookies in, and especially this guy that was playing in the KHL, I think it's a shorter window for him to catch on ice, which we've seen. So there is some merit to what you're saying. Like, if this is a guy that's going to get more than the rookie minutes, it could be this guy. So I get your point there. But I would say with Montreal, they're kind of on house money. Case in point, you already talked about him earlier. There's the move to get Zach Bolduc. They had a surplus of defensemen. They send Mailloux over to St. Louis. St. Louis needed that bottom 2 pair, or wherever they threw them on that lineup, and St. Louis had a surplus of wingers, and it just looks right now. It looks like definitely Montreal got the better of that deal. But again, it's hard to say that, because Mailloux's a kind of a shutdown type guy. But so yeah, what jumps out at me is really with Montreal. Everybody knows about their top 6, like Demidov being on that top line. Right now he's getting line 2 minutes. So or I see it as possibly increasing, but it's not that shocking yet this early in the season. What I would say is when your 4th left wing is Patrick Laine, that's pretty good. That's a pretty deep team. So I do love the depth. And then Lane Hudson, he got his contract. I don't know, it's been going around Twitter. I don't know if you guys got see it, but they stopped practice and just mugged Hudson, the teammates.
Awesome.
So giving the kid a hug, everybody's taking the time to do it. They stop it. Not one guy, skates out of the line after they all kind of group around. Then it's individually, high fives, like the dude gets paid. You can tell he's a team guy. And I just saw the goal, Cole Caulfield. Cole Caulfield got it, incredible shot, but it was off Lane Hudson getting that gap, getting that space. So there's your offensive D-man. He picked up right where he left off last year, which was a Calder Cup for him, Rookie of the Year, for those that don't know what the Calder Cup is. But and JT, you said, Montreal's been on. Yeah, I agree with you, and I hope there's more of them. They're a fun team to watch. I get a kick out of them. I like it. Noah Dobson seems to be catching on. I like Zekai and his brother that played in the preseason. There's two of them running around out there. Imagine if those two guys play at the same time. How would you? It's like the Kachuk brothers. You're watch out. Just keep an eye on that. But nothing but excitement in Montreal. I like it so far.
Yes, yeah, fantastic. Right now we got Dallas 1-0 first period over Minnesota. Calgary 2-0 over Vegas as the second has just started. Hurricanes, Sharks getting ready to go underway. Penguins, Ducks here in about 25 minutes. So far, Canadians, like we just talked about, with the win 5-4 in overtime over the Kraken. Oilers 2-0 earlier over the Rangers. Maple Leafs 7-4 over the Predators. And Capitals 3-2 over the Lightning in OT. Boys, it's time to talk about our Listeners League. Let's get an update.
It's Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
So we have our first ever Shoot the Gap Shoot the Gap is our IDP show. Me and Jorge, we were talking earlier, are around the ice. We have both leagues. Me and Jorge, we're talking about both of them. That's hilarious because we were in Shoot the Gap Listener League and Around the Ice Listener League talking about both of them. So if you don't, I'll just use this as a perfect time to talk about that. Wednesday night, Shoot the Gap on Fantasy and Frames. If you're in football, in IDP, check that out. But our Listener League here for Around the Ice, our first ever one underway. Toast. Let's talk about the update. Week 1, we had some battles in the mix. Got to bring up a comment here. Jorge kicked off week 1 versus JT. Now week 2 versus Aaron. He's like, damn it. So he went against me week 1, Aaron now in week 2 for Listeners League. Give us a recap of how things got going here in our Listeners League, and kind of just give a recap of what our league is like in case anyone listening wants to maybe jump in next year.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a 12-team head-to-head points league. So we go weekly matchups, 4 pickups a week. So you can stream goalies if you like. We got 2 centers, 2 left wing, 2 right wing, 3 defensemen, 2 utility, and a goalie to start, and a 6 bench. So I think we have a roster of maybe 19 guys, a couple IR spots there as well. And it's a light bangers league. So we give about 0.3 per hit, 0.3 per block, even 0.2 for a PIM, and then your traditional scoring after that. So through week 1, hey, you know what? Us Around the Ice guys doing pretty good. We each want to know. Titch, you're 1-0. I'm 1-0. JT, you're 1-0. I mean, honestly, too, like, guys, I'm leading the league in points, so far. I'm doing pretty good. 165 of them in a short week. Poor Scott DeWitt down there, new to fantasy, 0-1 in our league. We're happy to actually have him. He's I know Scott real well. He'll actually be great at fantasy hockey. He really works hard at his other fantasy sports. Poor guy had 174 points scored against him. Points against so far in the league this year. So I mean, that's hard, and that's not going to last. You got to stay the course, like you said. 1 week doesn't mean nothing, but you can actually, JT, like if you go down on season stats on ESPN underneath standings, you can kind of see all of the stats for all of the teams combined, and basically look and see where you rank for each stat category, so to speak. Even though we don't, it's no surprise to me that I'm actually second in the entire thing on shots on goal because that's how I draft. I like actually having guys who put the puck on net And I'm also first in hits with 73 as well. I like to actually get guys who shoot, who hit, get a little bit of everything there, the balanced attack. And so far, through 1 week, it's working pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice. I got Jorge in week 1. I felt bad about taking him down. Not so much, but I had to get the win for week 1. But he is currently up by 4 points on Aaron Tomatich here in week 2. So we got ourselves a battle. I'm actually down here in week 2. Is Pucky Puckersons are giving me the business right now, leading the league in scoring in week 2 with 50 points, right up there with you, Toast. You have 53. So we're gonna get ourselves I think a pretty good week. We got a good group here in this listeners league. Some new guys to hockey, but seasoned fantasy players, guys that know what they're doing, that play in a bunch of fantasy football leagues with me, Dynasty. These guys are going to pick it up real quick. A bunch of guys who are like, I like hockey. I've never been in fantasy hockey before. I'm like, this is a perfect league for you. Start a league, get in there, try it out, see what you think. I think it's going to be a really fun season. And hopefully we get people over the year who watch the show who's like, you know what? I want to get in fantasy. I get too. Or maybe you're in one league or 2 other leagues and you want to jump into the listeners league. This is perfect. You can jump in here with us. It would be fantastic. We would love to expand the league next year if we get more people that want to get in. But we are going to be giving updates throughout the season for all the guys that got in our listeners league. We are going to be talking about that and keep everybody up to date.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, Jorge and I, we went head to head tonight with some caps. Of course, Tommy Wilson had himself a game. So shout out there, go Caps, go. But yeah, you know, that'll be short lived. So I plan on dusting him up pretty good here over the course of the next couple of
I love the smack talk.
days.
I love it.
And
Jorge,
I'm looking at
free
it.
to jump in here and talk smack on the chat.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
And I think Jorge, he has all the technology behind the show, Fantasy and Frame. Shout out there. So maybe my window goes away here in a minute if I don't watch it. But and that again, that's all this league is. It's fun, you know. People that do tune in, you know, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We'd love to interact with you on this too. It's all in good fun, and that's all we do. We just have a lot of fun with this. But with that, I would say here's where Jorge and I are going to go head to head this week, and I think if we play this early on, we should have at least one more matchup if my math's correct here. But he's got a pretty good banger team, Jorge does, and he did that intentionally. He was targeting some of those guys as he was drafting. So like Toast said, it's a little bit light on the bangers, but we still collect those banger categories, the hits, the blocks, all that stuff. So he's probably got the number one team when it comes to that, in my opinion. I went after all scorers. I ignored the block shots. I ignored the PIMs. I ignored all of it. I just went with guys that get on the stat sheet, that get the goals, the assists, that type of thing. I was kind of mid on the shots on goal, but my guys actually put the puck in the net. I was second in goals scored. So you can have all the shots on goals you want, Toast. I want the guys that put the puck, that missed the goalie and put it actually in the net. And that's how I get my shots, are the ones that count. So it should be interesting. Let's see this grind out, see how Jorge and I end up, which philosophy, and you can kind of choose your own adventure when you draft this team. Like you said, JT, it's a good springboard to, oh, this is really fun. I really like this. I'd like a deeper cut. Maybe I'd like a dynasty. Maybe I'd like this. Maybe I'd like try
like a
auction
keeper
draft,
league, like our
keeper
league. We went like 2 keepers, then we upped it to 3, and then once we had our league together for was it 4 or 5 years? We kind of asked everybody like, hey, do you guys feel like you're ready for dynasty, like full out dynasty? And everybody like voted like, yeah, I feel like I'm prepared. So we didn't and we're like, we're not going to go deep dive. Like some leagues, like me and Toast and Aaron, you're the same way. We're in some leagues with like 30 deep on the minor league roster. That's like deep dive. You got to like know some stuff. We're like, hey, we're going to go 10 minor leaguers. We're not going to go crazy. We're not going to go guys, you have no idea who they are. But it's always a nice progression when you kind of get into it and get started, figure out like how you kind of can build from there. So it's always nice to start in a redraft league, especially like an easy points league, and kind of build your way up those banger leagues, those leagues that are like categories, salary cap, like when it gets a lot more serious, a lot more things you have to pay attention to, but it's always a good starting point.
Yeah.
Aaron, you don't need to be so modest. You know, I mean,
Jorge,
what you need to do is-
Jorge, Toast. Jorge just jumped
Yeah.
in and said, "Bring it on." He
Yeah,
said,
you know
"Bring
what?
it on,
Yeah, well,
bring
we're
it
gonna-
on, brother."
Here's the deal, Aaron. You need to teach Jorge a lesson this week. Okay,
I think so.
you let him. You just let him know. Hey, if he has all the hitters, the bangers, and all that's fine. You're gonna teach him a lesson this week. You know, he's gonna learn real quick.
Something to be said for the little water bugs of the world, little short, stout guys like myself just dance around out there. We're dodge all the hits and let the brutes try to run away from all the brutes. So yeah, we'll see. Now that I said it, I put it out there in the ether. I'm gonna get smoked, but
that's
we'll
what happens. Hey, I was gonna say, Toast, you were tied for league lead week 1, 165.4 points with Pucky Puckerson's PJ in the league. Nice first week, tied Toast for overall scoring. Right now, we're in a battle. He's already smoking me by 20 points 2 days into the week. So I'm going to have my work cut out for me here in week 2. So congratulations to him. Aaron Tomatich at number 3 at 161.6 after week 1. I won, but I was the lowest scorer of week 1 winners with 142. I'm currently sitting in 6th place, but I'll take it. I'm 1-0 with 142 points. Pretty close though, guys. Like nobody absolutely got smoked. We got a lot of teams like in the mix. I think it's going to be a good competitive season.
Yeah, it's going to be. And you look at right now, like the top 10 scores in our league, there's not a huge surprise. You got Nathan McKinnon up top, man. Colorado, we got 3 out of the top 10 scores out of Colorado. Now, they are going to play a ton of games in October. I think they've already played either 3 or 4 games. I can't remember which one. But you got McKinnon, you got Martin Necas, you got Cale Makar, all in the top 10. Nathan McKinnon is our top scorer. And right now in fantasy, he is probably top scorer in all formats, is my guess. Kirill Marchenko, my guy. All right. He, not my guy in this league, but he's my guy in my home league and a couple others, whatnot. But man, had a hattie the other night. He's off to a huge start. And Aaron, your guy, Dorofeyev for Vegas. So you have up to 5 goals now, leading the NHL through a week. 5 of them.
It was in my notes. Okay, I'm going to say this. It was in my notes. And when we looked for bets and we did our future show, which hopefully the listeners listened to because that was my number 1 shout out. It's a little early to be boastful, but 45 to go, 45 goals to go, and this guy's got his 50. And I don't know who runs the Twitter account for Vegas. I love these team run Twitter accounts. All sports are the same. They're getting really, really funny, but they have his and it's not new, but they have his what he's on pace for. And that number just keeps going up. So he's on pace for like
5,000 goals, 875 million points, right?
Yeah.
I know. I texted you after I saw that first game. I was like, oh my God, Aaron Tomatich in heaven. I'm like, this guy coming out. Goals right off the bat, hat tricks, killing it. Oh, fantastic. We're going to go over that more here in just a minute when we get to our fantasy hockey segment. But before we get to that, we're going to talk some minor leaguers here. Let's talk about that before we get into the final leg of the night.
And you, young Skywalker, we will watch your career with great interest.
So in this segment, we like to talk about some of the guys in the minors, in college, overseas that aren't in the NHL, kind of keep you up to date on some of the big names, but also throughout the year, we will break down some guys that maybe you need to know about. Guys you need to be looking at picking up either on your dynasty roster or guys that you need to have on that checklist of like, I need to draft this guy next season. So this is where we go over that. Our young risers, we have to start with my guy. Got to start with my guy. And Godfred Dell. Hat-trick in the Swedish league already week 1. So let's break it down for me. I'm already fired up as can possibly be.
Well, so guys, I'm just going to say that I'm going to apologize for this entire segment because I'll be honest with you, we're going to go over some other some professional leagues like the AHL, the KHL, which is the Russian league, the SHL, which is a Swedish hockey league as well. Tonight, we're not actually going to discuss the WHL, the OHL, all of the stuff that actually, we had Victor Nuno on from Fantasy Hockey Life on our opening show at our live cast, our 3.5-hour live cast last Tuesday. And he really did a great job breaking down these leagues and just really spoke to Frondell on really how rare it is, for an 18-year-old to actually go into the SHL and actually score a hat trick, especially when he's his age. He's 18 years old. So I went through the notable scores through the entire SHL here and just looked at guys that are 20 years old and younger. It's only him. It's only really him that actually stands out. There's nobody else, and he's up to 6 goals through 10 games. This is a man's league. This is a professional league, and you're going to see plays with like a bunch of anybody anywhere from 24 to 31 years old that are in that league. He's 18 years old, actually off to a start like that. As Victor Nuno said last week, it doesn't happen too often. So JT, you can tell everybody to go eat crap. You actually drafted him number 1 overall, and you passed him, Misa up and everybody else. So that's okay. So far, you can go ahead and just revel in this right now, man. He's actually looking great.
If I only get to talk shit for 1 week, I'm going to do it. I love it. I freaking love it. My Swedish guy, all the Blackhawks in our Bangers League. I'm loving this. I know I'm going to eat it when John McGlynn in our home league just tasks me every day is like, thank you for giving me Michael Bisa, and just talk smack about how I gave him Michael Bisa forever. But I still love Rondell, especially in our Bangers League. I love the Swedish guys and being on the Blackhawks. My girlfriend's like, you have to take him, don't you? I was like, I do. I need a Rondell jersey in like no time. I can't wait. I love the start of the season. I'm fired up. I'm like, it could not. This might be the happiest I'm ever going to be with Rondell. I'll just tell you that right now. I am totally set for disappointment after this, but I am so fired up this week. I'm loving it.
Hey, and Misa. So yeah, Frondell, unbelievable. And that's a great stat, Toast. Looking at that. And you already shouted it out and did it justice. But those that didn't listen or haven't yet, pull up Victor's breakdown. It really level sets all the different leagues out there. So again, I think that gets a little intimidating. Whatever, if you're new to hockey, or let's say, maybe 10 years ago, I was new to Premier League soccer and didn't understand all the other leagues that feed into that, or the Champions League, where they kind of the best of the best of all the major professional sports over in European. Like, it gets a little what they call like spaghetti code for IT, but there's a big web of just all these different leagues and which one is the best and which one's development, which one do all the washed up guys go to, which one do they still have a shot at the NHL. So Victor did awesome on breaking that all down. So yeah, for Frondell to be playing that well at that age, matter of time before he gets his debut. But again, you just want to take your time. It's not like the Hawks are that one piece away. They're 6 to 10 pieces away. So let's let him light it up and let's let him get his development time before we bring him over. But your boy Misa, or actually I should say McGlynn's boy Misa, he's making his debut tonight. He's had 4 shifts, about 3 minutes, 30 seconds of ice time. Don't know that he blocked the shot. So I don't know, JT. You may
I had moved to the minors in our league. In our home, in our one of our other leagues, I have him in our Cats league. I had to move to the minors because I had too many guys that came off injured reserve, and I was like over the limit on Fantrax. And I was like in the car, I was doing stuff. I wasn't driving people. I was in the passenger seat. I was like, I got to change this real quick before that game start. So I had to move him to the minors. So I didn't play him tonight. So I'm like, if he scores his first career goal when I got him in the minors on my bench, I'm going to be real upset. So, but excited to see him play. Excited to see him get in there, but I had to move him down at least for tonight so I didn't have an illegal lineup.
Yeah, tracking minutes this early in the game. I mean, what a young, exciting team this is. The other thing too, last thing I'll say about the Sharks and their youth is Dickinson he's back on the blue line, but highly touted defensive prospect. Looks like he's getting some minutes tonight as well. I mean, he started the season. He's been out there before, but yeah, just good. It's kind of gut check time for the Sharks. How many of these guys are we keeping? Because the way the NHL is going, we talked about Huddy getting his contract. All these guys are getting their extensions. The bridge contracts kind of turned into more of a 7 or 8 year deal now. Is the bridge contract going away? I don't know, but it's not too early for some of these younger teams to start making decisions like that from the way the league's going and the way the cap is going. So put up or shut up. We'll see what San Jose does.
Yeah, and really lots of signings here, and just really real quick, and we'll get off this topic here real fast. But that whole great 2026 free agent class isn't looking so great anymore.
No,
right?
isn't
because
that
they're all
crazy?
signing, man.
I know.
And so let's go back to this real fast. And these dynasty leagues, this is just a killer, in my opinion. It's a killer. Kirill Kaprizov, again, the 8-year contract worth $17 million a year. Okay. Yeah. He's, what is he, 26, 27, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. You know, and again, Minnesota needs him, right? So they need him. So they're actually willing to, we can't let him walk out of our market. We got to have him. We got to have one of the 6, 7 best players in the world. Yeah. So I get they have to overpay a little bit, and they play different positions. Right, but Jack Eichel actually signs the 8-year contract, 13.5. Yeah. That's a great number. He's 28. Yeah. That's a great number. Kyle Connor, 28 years old, 8-year, $12 million AAV. That's a great number. And then you basically Connor McDavid. We actually talked about this in our live cast. 2 years, $12.5 million. So if you combine all of those, and again, every situation is different. And every team's needs different. But if you combine all of those and look at all of those in a bubble and put Kaprizov's in there as well, as we had actually said before, it just felt when he signed for about $2.5 to $3 million too much on the AAV, regardless if the cap's going to be going up significantly or not. That's in my opinion. And that's a killer if you're actually on a dynasty cap league, where you're actually tracking cap and you got shares of Kaprizov, and then you're actually saying, oh, the guy I'm actually going up against here, he's actually got shares of Eichel and got shares of Connor at $5 million AAV less a season. It just hurts. It hurts. So we have to see how that contract works out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree with your point. Slightly different reason is just I think that with the way the cap's structured and all the rules and regulations that are in there, I think you'll see those top end stars eat up most of that money as the cap goes up. Again, this is just based on the preliminary. It's based on all these guys signing. It's based on Kaprizov. We'll see. I don't think it not that the bottom 6 are playing for peanuts, but it may just hover around the superstar level. I mean, again, we'll see a hard cap in this day and age. It's kind of unique in that, and hopefully, the only thing I hope the parity stays with the NHL, because that's one thing that's really, yes, we have dynasties, but they're built dynasties. They're not just flash in the pan, sign the free agents. Okay, boom, I just bought my ring. Now I'm going to be irrelevant for 10 years. That doesn't really happen in the NHL. It's a slow build, a slow grind, but the payoff is worth it. I can say that from experience, from having a lifetime of no cups, a childhood of no cups, to having 3. It's pretty exciting, and there's nothing that gets your passionate fan base moving more than winning a cup.
Yeah, guys, I want to mention something real fast, and Aaron, well said. Jack Eichel. All right, scores another goal tonight. He's got
just put one in while you were talking about him.
Yeah, and remember in our futures bet, they had all of those bets where October scoring leader.
Yes,
Jack Eichel was plus 2,800 for October scoring leader. He's got 8 points through 3 1/3 hockey games so far. 8 points.
Boom.
So that 2,800 looking pretty good, and Vegas has got a real cush schedule through October, and that was the reason we liked him as well.
All right, last 5 minutes of the show, fellas. Let's talk about that hockey, that fantasy hockey.
But hey, as they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
All right, so let's look at some of our takes, fantasy hockey through the first week. Guys we're loving, guys we don't love. Anybody you see on waivers that need to be picked up, different things with injuries and whatnot. It's always hard early in the year. Like I said earlier, you don't want to go overreact too early and start making 1,000 moves on your team, dropping everyone, picking up everyone. You don't want to get too crazy early. But before we get into this, I do want to say one thing I meant to bring up earlier in the show. I talk a lot of smack about ESPN Plus a lot of times. The new multi-view for the hockey, NHL hockey, is legit. It's phenomenal. You can watch 3 games at once. You can move the sound between games. I've got 4 TVs in my basement, which I know is insane. But the fact that I can watch multiple other games and put 3 hockey games on one TV at the same time, I got to watch 7 games at once. It's finally ESPN Plus, you did something right. Please do not get rid of that. Keep that up. It just popped up this week, putting in games. I'm like, this is exactly what they should be doing. Because if you're not going to have games on regular TV, on regular ESPN, on ESPN2, everything's going to be on Plus. You got to pay extra for it. You might as well give people what they can, the full meal deal. Let them watch 3-4 games at once. The first good thing I've seen them do in a while. I like it. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. And we had the pod chat going with what we saw with that. I'm the same. I got a couple of TVs. I had 3 and 4. I had 7 NHL games. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So yeah, shout out to ESPN. Easy to crap on that anymore. Keep this feature. I love it.
Yeah, phenomenal. Also, I'm a jersey guy. Love the Red Wings Centennial jerseys. Crushed it out of the park. Crushed it. I want one. They're sold out right now. I got to figure out how to get one. But one of my favorite alternate jerseys, the San Jose Sharks wearing the all black with just the fin on the jersey. I love that jersey. It's a great jersey. My roommate in college, I've said this before, was a big San Jose Sharks fan from San Jose. Him and his dad had season tickets. Love that jersey. Love that black shark jersey. I'm hoping they just score 1 million points. Like, I'm hoping every San Jose game for fantasy purposes and betting purposes is like 6-4, 6-5 every game. Like, they have so much star power, so much talent, so many young studs. We know the goalie's not there. We know the defense isn't ready, but man, they have so many guys. I'm hoping they just crank out the points. What do you think, Toast?
JT, I'll be honest with you. I know in the last 2 minutes here, I just really want to mention something, maybe a little bit off base of that here is it's only a week and a half. Some of the guys are really frustrated that their superstars aren't actually producing. Okay. Connor McDavid, 3 games played, 4 assists, only 10 shots on goal, a hit and a block. That's it. 11 points in our fantasy league. Not very good for a guy's number 1 overall. Quinn Hughes, 3 games played, only an assist, only 6 shots on goal. You got Nikita Kucherov, 4 games played, 3 points, right, in 4 games. Good. Only 8 shots on goal, only 1 hit, 1 block. And then last here, Jack Hughes, through 3 games played, 2 assists. Again, points, assists are good. Only 8 shots on goal, a hit, 1 block as well. The superstars need to start scoring in bunches. They will. However, the superstars that actually have the peripheral scoring as far as hits and blocks goes, they got to shoot the puck more, right? 8 shots, 6 shots, 4 shots, 10 shots for 4 superstars. And you throw Sid Crosby in there as well. A goal and assist through 3 games, good. 4 shots on goal through 3 games. They got to shoot the puck more. So that's why I'm big on shots, and it's got to happen.
Aaron, is this the time where maybe those fantasy managers who aren't, deep diving into this that they get a little nervous, and maybe you start putting out some offers for some of these bigger players. Maybe offer a couple guys, see if somebody's upset, see if somebody's like gonna get cold feet early in a new league and wants to move a guy. Is this where you maybe like, I'll throw an offer out. We'll see what the temperature is, because again, we all know those guys in certain leagues. To hold most of the time, but there's a lot of people who don't. They get real antsy when guys don't show up right away and produce points, especially in hockey. Is now the time to maybe start, trickling, like just see what guys think. What do you want? What do you take for them?
Yes. I would say that every week, whether it's week 1 or it's week 52 or whatever. Always try to fleece somebody. Always do it. As a matter of fact, Gale, new to the league, I sent him the same trade twice in a row. Why did I send him the same trade twice in a row? Because I didn't think he heard me. No, he heard me. He texted. He said, "Hey, I heard, not interested." I sent him it again. You know how many people accidentally might hit the wrong button? That's what you got to count on. Count on people going too early and panicking or hitting the wrong button. Get them all out there. The worst they can say is no. Is it that offensive? No, it's not that offensive. Do it. Get in your league. Get in your home league. Everybody that's listening that's in our home league, I want to see some trade offers out there. Hit me up. I'm ready. Everybody's on the trade block. There's no such thing as a trade block. They're all on the trade block. Let's do it. Let's make some deals.
Exactly. I love that, Titch. There's no, I never have ever, I have to be honest with you, I've never put anyone on a trade block in any fantasy league I've ever been in. I'm like, everyone's on the trade block.
Yeah,
if you want to go get him, if you want a guy, I'll trade you if you got him. Like, I don't need to put him out there telling you, like, I'll probably get rid of him. I'll get rid of whoever you want if you give me the right guy in return. Tell us, you got to agree with that. Like, you just got to keep peppering people, right? Just text, throw a trade. If somebody says no, they say no. I tell people all the time. I get people hit me up. They ask for a certain player, and I turn them down. They're like, "Oh, so what's the deal?" And I'm like, I love that player. I'm just not going to move him unless you just murder me. I'm like, you're going to have to give me the greatest trade of all time for that player. But then there's other times I'm like, hey, man, I was really busy this week. I didn't have time to look at it, so I just declined it. You send it to me next week. I'm going to look at it more this week. I have a little more time on my hands. I'm going to think about that counter. I'm going to think about maybe I could make something happen. What's there? Right, Toast?
Yeah, I say, hey, how much is he? And then usually the trade is like, how much you got? So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, and I like making trade offers by text. I really do. I really don't like sending them over by the system. Send them by text. Have a little bit of a conversation. And here's a big thing I'm actually going to say as well, especially whether you've been playing this game forever, whether you're new as well. Don't be shitty with people when they actually send you a text or with a trade offer and you actually don't like it. They don't want to debate with you. What they actually want to do is yes or no. And what would it actually take? It's as simple as that, right? You don't know until you ask. And that's always been my thing as well, regardless of how outlandish it is. I want to know what you see as value and if it compares to what I see as actually value as well. And sometimes, and a lot of times those aren't going to align, but don't be shitty over it. There ain't no there's no reason to do that. So I think all the leagues that I play in, everybody's pretty well as they actually are approachable. They're actually going to actually respond courteously, but I don't like this firing off stuff on the system and it's saying a decline because I don't know what that person's actually thinking. That way, when I go back to them later on in the season for something similar, I already know kind of their philosophy on who's their core, who's not their core, where they're in a position, and what they told me last time, right? So make sure to actually have those one-on-one chats, whether it be text, over the phone, like that as well. I think that's the best way to end up managing your team.
Toast, I absolutely agree. I hate just where I can't say why I don't like a trade and I'm declining it. I like when I can text somebody, or I'm in a bunch of leagues or I'm either group me or they have other maybe everybody's not from the same area, so they don't all have their cell phone numbers, but they have a group text. I want to send a message on that before I offer you the trade, because if you're not even close to interested, why am I offering it to you? I want to see if you're thinking about it. I think that's the way to go. I'm totally agreement with you. Hey, then we can have a little back and forth. Oh, JT, I'm trying to get Lucas Raymond. Well, stop. Don't even text me. Like on route. I'm not trading Lucas Raymond. I love Lucas Raymond. Like somebody else might trade him for you, but not me, because I love Lucas freaking Raymond if I have him on my team. So then you just know, like, oh, he's not going to trade that guy unless it's a million picks, because he loves that guy. And so, like, I'm the same with other people. I offer a guy and they're like, oh, that's my favorite player. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I know not to offer, or I know I need to come with the haul to get him. Like, that's totally legit. The other thing, Toast, and I'm glad you brought this up, which we haven't talked about on the show at all, but don't be mad if somebody sends you a bad trade offer. Just decline it and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just don't be like, oh, this guy thinks I'm a dick. He thinks I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. He sent me that awful. I've seen people get all upset. I've seen people in my leagues text me being like, who is this guy? He thinks I'm a jerk off. I don't know values. I'm like, dude, don't take it that seriously. Sometimes people are just seeing what somebody will take. You can just decline it and move on. You don't have to hold a grudge for the rest of time. I had a league where some guy like talked mad shit to me. I didn't even know the dude. I was like a random league that I joined in football. And I was like, I was mad about it forever. This guy like talked smack to me about how I didn't know values. And I was like, what is this guy talking? And then I realized, like, I don't know this guy. He doesn't have any clue who I am. Like, why am I taking such offense? Just move on. Just move on.
Yeah,
So,
I always think, hey, and JT, and we, I love this type of conversation. I just take Aaron's approach. What Aaron usually does, actually, if I text him, he'll be like, I don't want that turd. That's what Aaron will tell me. And so, like, hey, at least I know, like, hey, thinks he's a turd. And I ain't going to offer him that again, whatnot. But, hey, Aaron was being funny. Maybe he wasn't being funny. I don't know. But I thought it was funny. So, but again, do not take an opportunity for somebody that sends you a trade to try to debate them why they should offer that to begin with.
Yeah.
That's Bush League stuff. That's stupid. That's really weak. And in the end, if you actually want to educate somebody else in your league, you shouldn't really want to educate them. You should actually want to encourage them so they'll stay in your hockey league, right? That way they'll become a better fantasy manager. They'll understand specifically, like, hey, we got new players in our home league. We actually have new players in this league as well for our listeners league. There's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of that. Like, hey, I'm just getting my feet wet. I don't know who's who. I don't know what's valuable or not. And they're going to be maybe looking out to other people to say, what would you do in this situation? Hey, befriend me. Here's the deal. Why? Because if you help them out later on, they're going to help you out. And that's what's been my philosophy. I will especially give a little bit and maybe give a little bit more in a trade, especially in redraft leagues where I'm not really set up to kind of win, thinking that guy's going to do me a favor next year. I've actually had that where, like, and he remembers. He'd be like, yeah, you've always been easy to deal with. I'm going to give you a little bit more here. And then I really want this because it's not going to be skin off my back and I want to see you win. Great. If you want to be shitty and actually not deal with other people, you're not doing yourself any favors at all in your league at all. Nobody's going to want to deal with you.
I was going to say, Toast, you're 100%. Then you're just cutting off lines of communication. Then no one wants to trade with you. We all have those leagues where people like, I don't ever trade with these two teams because they're ridiculous. They want they want to win the trade by 100 million times. Like, they want to get everything, give you nothing. You don't want to be that person. And I've always told you, especially when I'm new to a league, I'm like, hey, I'm not telling you your trade is bad. I'm just trying to work my way through this league because I'm new in this league. And I just joined one of our category leagues with a couple of you guys. I've got some decent trades that maybe if I was in year 2 or 3 of the league, I might have made the move. But I was like, hey, I'm still trying to figure out my way through this league, how the scoring works. I don't want to make any too early moves to really screw myself. I want to kind of, even if that's probably end up being a better move for me in the long run, I want to like feel it out first. So I always think you want to think about that too with people. You don't want to shame people into being like, then they'll never want to deal with you. I'm in a couple leagues where like, there's like 3 people you can trade with because everyone else has been a huge dick about it. And everyone's like, no, I want to trade with him. And then people make trades with me. They're like, how did you make a trade with a guy? Everybody hates him. I'm like, because I'm reasonable. I'm not like this trade offer's terrible. I'm like, okay, I don't like this guy for that reason. I'll trade you this guy instead because I like him for this reason. So don't take him as a personal offense. Don't hold on to that. I know we haven't really talked about this, and this kind of came as a segment out of nowhere, so that's my bad.
It did,
but
it's a great segment.
But I think it's I think it's important, especially early in the season when we're talking about this redraft, dynasty, salary cap league. Like, don't just slam the door in somebody's face right off the bat. Like, be like, yeah, I might not be comfortable with this trade right now. Let me think about it longer, because there might be somewhere like you come back with a trade in 2 weeks that you offered 2 weeks ago, and they're like, nah, and they're like, okay, I'll do it now, because now they've thought about it, they're more comfortable. And there's always those managers who they assume every trade right off the bat is them getting screwed. They're just those people. They think like, oh, if you're offering me, you're screwing me, right? Like, you wouldn't offer me a trade unless you're screwing me over. So you have to like build that trust of like, hey, no, I'm trying to make my team better. I'm hoping I'm giving you something relevant in return. I'm not trying to just take advantage of you, but that does happen a lot in the league. So you have to like kind of build that up. Is that right, Aaron? You agree with me on that? Like, you got to build that trust between people so you can make trades, especially in dynasty league down the road.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, everything you're describing. It's part of the fun of being fantasy, to be in with other owners, the interaction, whether it's through the phone, it's a podcast, it's shooting somebody a text and having that debate. That's what the whole point of it is. There's enough apps right now between DraftKings and FanDuel and MGM Sports and all that other sports. If you want to do it in a silo, go ahead and do it. Like, hey, human interaction isn't my thing. Fine, play on your phone all night. There's stuff for you to do. I guess with this, there is a certain level of interaction, and just be freaking nice. Just it's free will. I don't have to say yes to this. There's nobody twisting my arm. I'm not here to start a debate or to strike up put on my value police hat and say, well, this value is it. Save it for somebody else, or just I don't
hey,
know.
Aaron, save your anger for your Russian players and threats.
That's
Go to hard labor.
Throw them in the gulag.
Yeah, like just save it for that.
Yeah.
I mean, be nice to everybody in the league, but curse your players if they're not really playing well. And
Right.
I did plenty of that first week one in my home league. I mean, wow, what
you
a
got a lot of
shit show.
screens to scream at. You got the multi-view. You're just screaming 4 times as much now.
Yeah, I thought about the Bull Durham when the coach goes into the locker room and then showers and throws all the bats and goes freaking nuts. Like kind of what I wanted to do at the end of this week. I'm like, wake up, we started playing games. It started.
These count. Yeah,
these count. So, but and one last thing, Justin Brazotta scored his 4th goal for Pittsburgh. Who does he think he is? What's going on?
It's waiver wire hero right there. And then on the other side, you got Beckett, Seneke. Get him too. These are two grabs. Get them while they're hot. Get them while they're out there.
Yeah, you won't find Beckett in dynasty leagues, but redraft for sure.
I'm just waiting. Titch to where we come on and all of a sudden Toast has learned Russian and all he knows is cuss words and hockey terms, and he just cusses out guys in hockey terms, and it'll be fantastic. That's when you know we've made it. Like Toast is like that's all he does. I mean, phenomenal.
I don't know why. Like, I got just a great appreciation for history. I know Aaron and I have actually talked about maybe getting on the stew and actually having maybe a once a month thing, just like a history podcast, right? Actually talking about big moments in history and stuff. And you just think about Russia, the Soviet Union, the Iron Curtain, the Cold War, right? And then basically, I mean, I watched shows like on Chernobyl, right? And just everything there has to do with, and then you have all these great Russian hockey players. So it's like, I like this, and then one of my favorite movies is Rocky IV, and so you got that going for you. So there's just this love-hate relationship, this bromance there with Russia altogether, and the Russian players are just always great. So I am thinking about changing my team name to like Red Dawn, or or Iron Curtain, or something like Stalin's, something like that. I'm thinking about it, so maybe be surprised later.
Rocky IV, one of the greatest movies of all time. Anyone who grew up
Training in the
80s,
barn, dude. Like,
Oh,
it ain't better than that.
running
Just
through the
gives you the
snow.
feels.
Like, just everything. And then I will say, I know I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but if you have not watched, I think it's the Russian 5, that's what it's called, about the Red Wings, all the players from Russia coming to Red Wings. Oh my goodness, it's on Prime Video. I don't know what else is on, but it's on Amazon Prime Video. It is amazing. I grew up watching all those players. I had no idea the history and what it took to get those guys into America, into Detroit, to the NHL. Talk about a history lesson. Talk about something you're like, blew my mind. I mean, I just remember playing NHL 94 and Sergei Fedorov, I'm just deking everybody and scoring hat tricks left and right. And then I'm like, I watched that 30 years later. And I'm like, oh, that's what it took for that guy to get it to America. Like, it's wild. So if you have not watched that, please do go check that out. It is phenomenal on how hard it actually was for Russian-born players to get to America. Pretty crazy. Awesome documentary. I'm always a big fan of documentaries, but also a huge fan of NHL documentaries. Guys, we've gone over our time, but hey, it's early in the season. We can't help ourselves. We're fired up. Any last words here before we call it quits for tonight and we get back to the hockey?
Yeah, real quick. Watch your weekly matchups. Right. So watch the schedules. Watch your off nights. Right. Your heavy days are your Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. And usually your light days are the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And we got 3 teams in NHL this week that play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And if you actually haven't got them yet, you still have an opportunity to actually gain a lot of spots where you're not going to fill your roster otherwise. And that's Chicago, that's Detroit, and that's Utah. So actually think about streaming those guys. There's a lot of players out there, especially on Chicago and Detroit, that can be had. And you can stream them for a week and then drop their asses. So think about doing that. Good schedules there. But looking at those schedules, and if you got a couple moves left, actually, that you haven't used for that week, especially in leagues where you can actually do so many moves, redraft leagues, start thinking about next week, right? Look at next week's schedule. Try to get a guy that plays on Sunday and then plays on Tuesday, Friday, Sunday of the following week as well, those off days. So, start looking at that schedule, work the waiver wire, try to maximize as many starts you possibly can.
Yeah.
Titch, final thoughts from you.
Yeah. West Coast games, Anaheim, San Jose. If they're playing a non-playoff team, a team you do not think has a chance or a prayer at making the playoffs, bet the over on both of those games. A lot of teams do that West Coast swing. They're going to hit San Jose. They're going to hit Anaheim. They're going to hit LA. When they hit the circuit of San Jose, Anaheim, bet the over on those non-playoff teams. If playoff teams, that's a little bit different. They know how to play defense. To Toas's point, watch the schedule, wait till those non-playoff teams make that West Coast swing, and watch the goals pile up, and watch your bank account grow.
Fantastic work, fellas. That's going to do it for us tonight, week 2, Around the Ice podcast here on Fantasy and Frames. Check us out every Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central here on YouTube Live. Jump in, give us comments, funny comments, ask us about bet, tell us a bet, give us a bet. We'll take it. Anything you want, throw it in there. But always, any questions, fantasy related, betting related, hockey in general, hit us up on the X. You can hit me up at JT Orange, Toast at Toast Clark, Aaron at Titch4141. And please like and subscribe at Fifth Hockey on X, at Fifth Hockey. And then go to Fantasy and Frames. Check out all the football podcasts, all the great stuff they have there, and like us as well. Get into hockey. If you're not into hockey, get into hockey. Yes. It's better for you. You'll like it. You'll like getting hockey. So thank you everybody for joining us. We'll be back next week. We appreciate it. Hey, I hope all those bets hit. We'll see you guys next time.